Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, back again with Ronnie. In this last episode that we're going to be talking about, some things that are near and dear to me. You know, I want to know how it affected his family, his wife, his kids. And then we're going to get past that and we're going to go right into how, what would he say to these younger people out there in relation to being a part of the gang. I think I already know the answer to that, but I'm going to let him answer that for us. And I really want to thank him again for doing this. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to all of you out there that's listening. And I want you to really hit that comment section up, and respond to some of the things that he's been saying. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of comments about this oath issue, right? I'm going to still work on him when it comes to that, right? I just think he misguided, but I'm going to tell y'all something. He one of these guys that, he locked in. He think he right. You know what I'm saying? But y'all know how this goes. You know what I'm saying? The older you get, hopefully you'll learn a few things. But anyway, Ronnie, tell me, man, how did this, you come into prison, how did it affect your relationship with your wife? Because you said you had how many kids?
I have 6 children.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, of course, this is not a positive situation. So, of course, right. It did not have positive effects on my family.
Right.
But when I was locked up, when I first got locked up, I've been locked up about right at a year.
Yeah.
And my wife at the time told me that one of my close friends had been in contact with her on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And that she had gone out on a date with him.
Mm. And how long had you been locked up?
About a year.
About a year.
About a year. She had just had my baby girl not too much longer before that. She was 4 months pregnant when I got locked up on this charge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my baby girl was about 5 or 6 months old whenever she went out with dude for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And I mean,
what'd that feel like?
I mean, that's some treacherous ass bullshit, bro. Just to be honest with you. It's horrible. But I mean,
yeah,
I'm in here, so what can you do?
Right.
I mean, I struggled. To be honest with you, just be man to man.
Yeah.
I struggled hard about making a call and having dude touch, bro.
I totally get it.
I mean, golly, especially at first.
Yeah.
And
because this is a friend of yours.
This was not, I mean, this was a very close friend of mine.
Friend.
This is a man that, I mean, betrayal to the fullest.
Right.
And, this man would bring his daughter over to play with my children. And come to find out later on that he told my ex-wife that, the only reason that we were friends was so that he could be close to her. Now, whether that was actual bullshit or whether that's really how he felt, I don't have any way to really judge the accuracy of that statement, except to say that if he would say it, then there's got to be some truth to it.
There's some truth to it. There's some truth.
So, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I have to talk myself out of doing harm to dude every day.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
So it like most people that come into prison, it ruins your relationship.
It did, but and I mean, to be honest with you, to this day, wow. I love that woman with my whole heart.
That's good.
She's the mother of my children,
right?
And she's my wife.
Yeah.
And she will even tell me on the phone,
right?
Or she would tell me in a letter.
Yeah.
She would tell me whatever. That if I were not in prison,
you'd be with her.
Then we would be together.
Yeah.
Even if, and she's married to dude now.
Yeah.
If I got out tomorrow,
that
she would divorce him because I'm her husband.
She loves you.
But that may also have some influence on that oath thing we were talking about. Because she did give me an oath that she did not keep. Even though it was hard.
Okay. Yeah.
But difficulty does not excuse an oath. It builds the character of the person giving the oath.
Right. That's true.
So, when times got tough, she ran.
Yeah.
I love her to death.
Yeah.
And probably always will.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love her as my wife.
Yeah.
I don't mean I love her as a friend or as a sister.
I get that.
I love her as my wife. But at the same time, that's a very hurtful thing to believe somebody and to believe in somebody's word.
Yeah.
And then
turns out to be a bunch of bull.
It turns out to be.
But I mean, we have to take some responsibility in there because we did whatever we did.
Of course, and I definitely did what I did. Yeah, I did what I did. This is why I'm in here.
Right.
I tell people all the time, I'm the only guilty person in prison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I did that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you look up my case, I mean, I confessed. When they asked me, because I'm not gonna lie. Right. I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
But I take full responsibility. But that doesn't make it any easier.
No, it doesn't make it any easier.
Knowing, as a matter of fact, if anything, it makes it harder because I know that it's me that did this.
Right.
And so I have to eat that. You know what I'm saying?
And you said something also earlier about your kids, man. It really was profound to me. I never heard anybody put it like this. You were talking about your younger kids, right?
Right.
Go explain what you were saying to me earlier. I want them to hear that.
Well, my baby boy just turned 2 when I came to prison. And like I said, my baby girl was unborn when I came to jail, when I got locked up on this charge. She was, April was 4 months pregnant at the time. And so I come to prison and my youngest 2 children don't remember me at all.
Right.
And my oldest do remember me. And like I said, I feel like it's I feel like it is a blessing that my younger 2 do not remember me out of prison.
And why do you say that?
Because my older kids do remember me outside of prison and they miss me every day. They tell me, they cry on the phone. Yeah. As a matter of fact, my middle boy, he still doesn't understand the time that's involved with my charge.
Right.
And Daddy, when are you coming home?
Yeah.
Daddy, is it time to come home yet? Daddy, when will you come home? And I don't lie to my children. I tell my children. But the fact of the multiple decades that I have behind bars, it's too much time for him to comprehend at his age.
Yeah.
And it's way too much time for my younger 2.
Right. So you think it's a blessing? Well, you believe this is a blessing for them, not for my babies, to spare them for your younger ones, to spare them that pain.
Right. And the sad thing is, this time of year, I got locked up on August 9th on this charge, and that was right as school started for one of my middle boys, and this time of year, every year, actually starting about the last week of July. He's really got some PTSD because Daddy went away and he's not coming home. Yeah. Well, he is, but it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
So what's being done about that? As far as the PTSD and he's trying to get him some help.
Yeah, definitely. He's getting help for that. As a matter of fact, all of my kids, not all, my 3 oldest kids are getting help.
And let me say something about that real quick, because my sister, she's a therapist, right? And she's going to start to provide therapy for kids, family members that might have loved ones in prison.
I'm doing a lot. That's amazing.
Yes, so I'll get that information to you, and I'm going to, for all of you out there that's listening, I'm going to be starting, hopefully soon, putting a link up to her YouTube page and how you can get those services from her. You feel what I'm saying? And but yeah, I want to make sure you get that too.
I appreciate that
for sure.
But like I said, it's the thing is that in all of this heartache and sorrow that came with this life, I never realized how it affected children. Until I was behind these walls. Until I was on the phone having to explain my actions. And like I said, I'm not going to lie, even to my children.
Not to your kids, right.
And I have to Daddy, what did you do?
Mm.
And I had to stand on that.
Mm.
This is what I did. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, my wife was not happy that I'm explaining to an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old why I'm in prison,
right,
and what my charges are. She was not happy about that at all. And as a matter of fact, it took 3 weeks for me to get her and my children back on the phone.
Yeah, she just thought they were too young for that.
She did, and she didn't want that exposure. But I was the one that exposed them to begin with, because I'm the one that got the charge. Right. And I'm not going to have them find out from somebody at school, right, or from whoever. If they're going to hear the truth, they're going to hear it from me. Right. And that was an extremely hard conversation to have, first of all, with the children. Mm-hmm. And then it was an extremely hard conversation to have with my wife. Yeah. Because she didn't understand why I would subject them to that. Yeah. Because that's a young age. You know what I'm saying? That's a very young age. And me and my sister talk about this sometimes, trying to figure out what is the right age. Because I know when my sons, she would bring my sons up to see me. I think it wasn't until, they would always ask, but I think it wasn't up until they got about 12 or 13 that I started to explain to them. And my nephew, I waited until he asked me. He would always ask my sister, and she was like, ask your uncle. You know what I mean? And I waited until he got old enough that he could absorb that. I think it was around 12 or so, something like that. But I struggled with that. I wanted to tell them when they were younger, but I just felt like, shoot, I can't even wrap my head around the time that they gave me. So I don't know how they would be able to do that. Right. Well, I'll be honest with you. The way I came to grips, the way I came to my decision to tell my children was this. If they're old enough to ask the question, they're old enough to at least get the basic answers. They didn't have to get all the details. Right. However, Daddy is in prison because Daddy killed a man. Right. And hurt someone else. Yeah. And Daddy's got to do a lot of time because of that. Right. And leave it at that. And then as they mature, that's the honest answer. They can't say I lied to them. Right. And but is that mature, more so for you or them? You know what I mean? Definitely for them. For them? Because if I told them Daddy's in prison for whatever, or not even that, a lot of these guys don't even tell their kids that they're in prison. Right. Daddy's away, Daddy's at work, Daddy's whatever. Yeah. I know a lot of people like that. But then if they see me on the news, or if they run into somebody who knows the case and they hear this at school, to me that would be more traumatic for them to find out in that way, and then to know that their daddy lied to them. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm never going to do. I feel. So, and that's how I came to grips. Mm-hmm. And I mean, to be honest, I know I'm not the perfect father. Obviously, I'm in prison. But I don't think that I'm better than most, but I do what I think is best. Right, with the good and right intentions. You don't have any bad. Even if that wasn't the correct way to handle this, and there's probably child psychiatrists and psychologists and all kinds of initials behind somebody's name that would say you're dead wrong for that. But it worked for me and my children. Yeah. Because once they knew the real reason, they could start getting help for the real reason. Mm-hmm. They could start being explained, and they could do their own research when they felt like it, when I'm not on the phone with them. Mm-hmm. My oldest son, looked up my charges. Yeah. He's like 90% of kids out there, he's got a cell phone. And in this state, you can look up anybody's charges if you've got their name. Absolutely. And so he looked up and read the details of my case and everything. Mm-hmm. And he was 14 when he did that. Yeah. I think that was horrible, to be honest with you, because I think he was too young to know the details of that case. Yeah. I really do. Yeah. But technology is a motherfucker, bro. What you said. But do you think that after he read that, did his opinion of you change any? How did he bring that conversation up to you after he looked that up? And how did you respond to it? He didn't bring it up to me. I brought it up to him. I was told, my wife went through the search history on his phone
Mm-hmm.
and saw that he had gone to 10-4.com
Mm-hmm.
and knew immediately what was going on. So the next time I called home, she let me know what was going on, you know, that she thought that this happened. And so I asked her to put him on the phone. And she put him on the phone. And I mean, I'm a very blunt individual.
Yeah.
So I asked him. And he lied to me. But I mean, you know, that happens, especially at that age.
Yeah, he didn't want to disappoint you.
But, you know, I could tell that more than anything, he didn't understand. He didn't understand.
Yeah.
And even though he knew, even though he knew the facts of the case, he didn't know the motivations, the mindsets, because when kids get that information, even a 14-year-old young man at that point, you know, he's not really, I mean, he's a kid, but he's not a child. But even then, they can understand that they don't understand, why would you do this to go away from me?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they look at it.
Right.
Why would you do something to take you away from me? Why would you leave me?
Yeah.
And that wasn't my motivation. And so it took almost a year before he finally understood that my motivations at that time were kind of selfish, you know. But at the same time, at the time, I thought I was doing something that was in the best interest of everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for the person who got killed, but wasn't in his best interest. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know, I thought, you know, it was making my situation safer.
You thought it was the right thing.
And well, no, I knew it wasn't the right thing.
You knew it wasn't the right thing.
But I thought it would make sure that my situation was safer for my family and for myself.
I see.
And that being said, once I was able to, and it took me a while just to come up with the words to say. But once I was able to articulate and verbalize to him the situation that I was in, and again, it caused another uproar between my wife and I. But once I was able to do that and we were able to get over that hurdle, to be honest with you, I think I messed up, because even though we got past that and he got rid of the resentment, I screwed up, man. And he started to idolize those actions.
Wow.
You see what I mean?
I do.
Even though he sees where I landed, he thought that was the way to be.
He thought that was.
And that's a lot of the reason I feel like, not even I feel like, that's a lot of the reason I know that he made the decision to be a part of this organization. And I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. But like I said, man, that's on my plate. I put it there. I gotta eat it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta eat it. But you know,
I feel you too. I do. I didn't know where you were going with that. But man, forget that.
Yeah.
Forget that, man. Look here. I really appreciate this, man. I do. I want to do this again. After I regroup and get some more questions for you, I want to do this again, because I think that, you know, you presented yourself well, man, and you stand on what you say. And most of the guys, I got to keep it 100. Most of the guys that I talk to, I got to cut into them one way or another. I was all prepared to cut into you, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, you just kept it 100 all the way through. You feel me?
I try to do
and
that.
I respect that. You know
and I
what I'm
respect
saying?
you, man. And inshallah, man, we can come together again and do this.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Man.
And I'm going to get that info to you, man, about my sister. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be putting that link up, or have my people put the link up. So if there's any of you out there that are needing therapy, holler at my sister. You know what I'm saying? She's really top notch, and she'll get you in line. We'll get you some help, okay? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.